Welcome to the Real World Gamecast. I'm Bo Bailey, along with Kelvin Hoskin, your Real World Game Champs, here to bring you this week's top story in gaming news. This week we'll be taking a look at Paris Games Week. Huge week for gaming in Paris, really huge week for PlayStation.
Absolutely.
After that, we got the Black Friday and pre-Black Friday deals going on. Kelvin, what else we have?
We got Humble Bundle being acquired by IGN, and there's been a big increase in console sales, oddly enough.
All right, without further ado,
Let's get started.
All right, before we dive in this week, we realized after last week's podcast that we didn't do a good job of introducing ourselves.
We did not.
So, I'm Bo Bailey. I have been a console gamer since like the age of like 5. Started out a long time ago playing like Mario Kart and the N64, you know, good old stuff. Moved on from N64 to a PlayStation, to a GameCube, Xbox, PS2. Skipped the PS3, got an Xbox 360, PS4. So I feel like I've played a good bit of console gaming throughout my years. And so I kind of take the approach of the console gamer for the podcast. And I turn it over now, I guess, to Kelvin. Kelvin, what's your background?
I mean, I guess, you know, I've played both throughout most of my life. Super Nintendo, N64. Obviously, the original Nintendo's 90s. And come on. But then I actually had an original Xbox. And then I started to get into PC gaming around the same time. Played a lot of Warcraft 3. A lot of, strategy RTS games back in the day. Command and Conquer. But moving on, I did have a 360. I do have an Xbox One, so I do have console gaming experience. With that said, I focus almost entirely on PC gaming now because I just prefer the experience. But that's my perspective. Bo's got his perspective.
And I do dabble in PC gaming a little bit myself. I do run on a Mac, so I'm kind of limited to what's available on the GeForce Now platform. I've been loving that, been using that for probably 4 or 5 months now. And it's given me a lot more of a chance to like dive in and play some good PC games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool. The GeForce Now experience it's very interesting.
And it runs a lot better than I was expecting it to. But speaking of, Kelvin, what have you been playing this week? What's been on your play log for last week?
It's been mostly, to be honest, I've been focusing, guys, on Shadow of War, not Shadow of Mordor. I've played a decent amount of that, and the other game would be, I guess, PUBG probably has been the other game that I've played the most this week. I mean, as much as that, of course, but, you know, it's been fun. PUBG's, you know, it's not a game that I think will last forever in terms of the appeal of it, but there is it's just such a heart-pounding experience when you play that game that I think it's a lot of fun. But those are the games that I've been playing this week. How about you, Bo?
I've been dabbling in a couple different things. Ever since I've finished up kind of everything on D2, I've been I dialed it back and I've been kind of going through my backlog. So I played a little bit of like Final Fantasy 15 on the New Games Plus because I'm trying to go through and get to like the DLC episodes and then play through those. But when I logged in, I noticed the Assassin's Festival was still going on, which was neat because now I've got like the Assassin's Creed cloak for my guys in Final Fantasy, which is interesting. It was a nice little like crossover they did.
Yeah, that is an interesting crossover.
And it was weird. Honestly, it wasn't that well done. Was the experience cool? Yes, but it was clunky. It was very clunky. You had to like press X to do a lot of things. Like when the prompt showed up, you couldn't just like do it like you can in Assassin's Creed. So they gave you like a little taste of the experience, but it was still like not there at all. But yeah, so I played through that, and I played through a good bit of Fortnite. with my squad. We got on, we did some squads, we did some duos. did a little bit of solo. I don't really enjoy Fortnite solo because I'm just not that good.
No, PUBG's the same way. I mean, it's just it's a soul-crushing experience.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, when I play solo on Fortnite, I tend to go more towards the route of like just run away and survive as long as I can.
Right.
Instead of trying to get as many kills, I just see kind of how long I can last.
Oh, yeah. That's right, because there's the guys who are so good that they are going out killing people, getting the best equipment, and it's like tough to be like, I'm not good enough to be able to dominate a game.
Right. And I'm not one to sit here and say like I'm the best at anything.
Right,
I know. I'm definitely not good at Fortnite. I'm not terrible, but I'm not great.
Yeah.
I did my weeklies on Destiny 2.
Yep.
Go in and do those every week just to try to keep it going.
Oh yeah, no, I get you.
I think that's about it. I feel like I played a little bit of Divinity. I've been going through and trying to get through Divinity, which is an interesting experience. It's definitely a lot more of like depth and world than I was anticipating before I picked up Divinity Original Sin 2. Because I haven't played Divinity 1.
Yeah.
Or any of the older ones. Because there is actually a Divinity 1 and 2 before Divinity Original Sins.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my first time playing through. And I think we're going to try to do that in a post-game stream later. Or a post-show stream. Which is something we're going to start trying to do more of.
Yeah, good. Well, we're going to try to do a little bit of, maybe some Let's Plays, some streams, and kind of get out there a little bit more.
But I think it's about time we start talking.
It.
Paris Game Week. Now, I was expecting to hear more kind of across the board at Paris Games Week.
Yeah.
But PlayStation came out day one and just dropped everything. And I feel like nobody else was putting anything out. I was expecting Microsoft to drop something related to the Xbox One X, give us something, and all we kind of saw was like a new ad. And like, it was hard to find anything on anything else because you Google Paris Games Week and everything that shows up was just PlayStation.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, the things that they did drop look
phenomenal.
Really good.
Yeah, I mean, really good.
Yeah, I wish I won't say that, but
you could say it.
There are times I wish I had a PlayStation. I definitely.
You'll just have to come over to my house.
Yeah. We'll start with the biggest one, I think, Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that new trailer, I don't even really want to call it a trailer as much as it was like an in-game cutscene.
It was like a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, it was like a little like, here's a taste of what to expect while playing
from
the story.
This game. I mean, here's what we're going to deliver. I mean, the graphics look... I mean, that's what we expect from Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Ellie looks...
Ellie looked really swole.
She looked ripped.
She was jacked.
To be fair, if you were living in that world, I think you would want to be jacked to be able to survive fighting zombies.
The woman that, like, told the little kid to cut her down, like, she wasn't.
No, she was not. She looked normal, like, sized, comparatively.
And, like, yeah, who's that kid with the freaking bow and arrow creeping in the woods with the headshots?
They're definitely,
dude was killer.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're definitely going to deliver an experience. Everything that I keep seeing from The Last of Us 2 has got me excited for it.
I think it's another big Naughty Dog game, and I think that they have. I can't remember the last Naughty Dog game that didn't deliver in some way.
Right.
And they're cinematic experiences in the gaming world in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, it definitely proves that EA has got it wrong when it comes to single player games.
I think they do. I think they do have it wrong.
Because if you, you
can make very successful single player focused games. I think there's still a big market out there for people who want to just sit down and play a story instead of having to. That's the biggest issue with a lot of these multiplayer games is things get they can get so competitive and people will put so much into it, and some people don't want to have to spend
that sweat
20 hours a week plus 10, 15, 20 hours a week putting in all that dedication. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's still a huge market, especially as people like us get older and like our older siblings get older and stuff, have less time to dedicate to games. I think those have even more appeal. And that market is getting bigger and bigger. Right. Everyone plays video games now.
I feel like the single player story has kind of in gaming has kind of turned into this like open world experience that you need to like kind of go at your own pace and make it through. But that's something that Naughty Dog never delivers. They always give you a very linear, follow the track, play the movie type of gameplay experience. And I feel like that's the direction more people need to take to give us that kind of, you know, feeling of actually being a part of the story, instead of just kind of giving us the option to go around from place to place and do everything. Just like I feel like Naughty Dog's doing it right.
I mean, I don't think there's anything.
No, there's definitely not anything wrong with open worlds, but I feel like there's not enough. Like Naughty Dog seems,
I think you're
mentally
right,
is the only one that comes to mind that's putting out this linear story.
Right. I think a lot of companies are coming in and just saying, "Oh, people want big open worlds. Here's a big open world," and then they're not.
Right.
I mean, I think that a lot of people do want big open worlds. I want big open worlds, but I want them to be done right. You know, I want them to feel the way they should, and some stories aren't ready to be told in that environment, so it's better to do a tight, you know, here's like, you know, a cinematic game.
Right. And speaking of cinematic games, the Shadow of Colossus HD remake.
Yeah. That's exciting.
I'm super excited for this game because I loved the Shadow of Colossus the first time around. And it's under a new developer this time. Right. So it's not Team Ico who did it the last time and did it so well. And Team Ico's always been known for their big, like, puzzly kind of, you know, cinematic games that are always very pretty and very like deliver some kind of unique gameplay experience. But this time around, since they're not coming up with the IP, it seems like Sony Interactive Japan has taken it to Blue Point Games for the total rebuild of the 2005 version.
Because they're just like you said, they're literally just rebuilding the game. The story's the same, the monsters are the same. There's none of the creative side. It's all on the let's make this game look gorgeous.
Exactly. And like Blue Point is known for like Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2. They did the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, the HD remasters of Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 that came out on like the other consoles. Like they're known for taking these old school titles and then like beefing them up, remastering them, and delivering that original feeling of playing the game in that whole new resolution.
New package.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of faith in it. I feel like it's going to go really well. I feel like it's going to be the same game that we wanted it to be, you know? Or the same game that it was originally.
Right, Shadow of the Colossus.
And it's just going to be prettier.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I will probably spend money on it. So, Shadow of the Colossus, if you didn't play the original, I'm sure it's out there. It may be in the PlayStation Store. I don't know. Check it out, though. Look into it.
Look into the remake. You know, if you don't know about the original, look into the original, see if you would like it. See if it's a game you would want to play. But it's a classic. It's definitely a PlayStation classic, so...
I guess the next one on the list is Ghost of Tsushima. And there's not a whole lot. We kind of got like this teaser trailer of it. Yeah. So it's coming from Sucker Punch, who's known for Infamous series, Sly Cooper. Oh, and Rocket Robot on Wheels. What throwback. I forgot about that game. That was a fun game. You had to like drive around on roller coasters and stuff because it was a little robot. Yeah, it was an old school game. It was fun.
But Infamous. So, okay, they're coming from the Infamous series. That makes sense.
Right.
It looks from the trailer. It looks cool, but you know, there's only so much.
Right. It's still a teaser trailer.
Right.
And
exactly.
We don't know enough about it right now to have initial impressions. But just from the look of it, first of all, they've set it in feudal Japan, and I love that. Not enough games have taken this approach of like, let's play ninjas, let's play samurais, let's go in and like have some Bushido battles, you know, going on. And I feel like it's an era of time that is solely forgotten about because
I don't think it's sorely forgotten about, but I don't disagree. I think that there's a potential for a lot of really cool games in that setting, and I don't think that's been taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I mean, there's definitely a lot of weeaboos out there who would love to see some samurai games.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we had things like Ninja Gaiden growing up.
Yeah,
and
Ninja Gaiden, and I do see where you're coming from.
But I definitely feel like it's an era that hasn't been touched. Like I thought Assassin's Creed would get to there at some point. And
Me too. Oh, I definitely thought. I thought before they came to America, they would have done feudal Japan
or Egypt. But
good point. Really good point.
But I don't know. The thing I don't really remember the Infamous games because they were on PS3 and I didn't have a PS3.
Yeah, I also missed that generation, unfortunately.
And so I do have some friends that have played through it. It looked like a good game. I just don't have enough background to really give an honest like first impression of it. I am interested. I guess that's where I can leave it. Is saying that like I'm interested to see more about this game.
Yeah. What's next? What do we got? What was
next up on the list? Spider-Man.
That game
it looks good.
Good. I mean, it's not the type of game I would go out and buy a PlayStation for. No. But if I owned a PlayStation, it is the type of game that I would want to get. Because, I mean, well, the graphics alone.
Yes.
Like, the game looks like a Spider-Man movie. I mean,
oh, yeah.
It's impressive.
Now, the latest trailer, because we've been hearing a lot about Spider-Man kind of, over the past year or so. And this last trailer gave us a better like understanding of what the story is going to kind of be.
Yeah.
Because it shows very early on in the trailer, like they introduce Miles, which that kind of threw me for a curveball because you have Peter and Miles kind of coexisting in the same storyline. Which I thought they were both different Spider-Mans in different comic series. But you're looking I don't have a huge comic background, so please correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, because Spider-Man, you're like, well, there's a whole Spider-Verse arc and stuff. The Spider-Mans have the ability to all basically know each other.
Gotcha.
There's a whole arc about
how they could.
Spider-Man could. It's very convoluted. The point is that yes, Spider-Mans can know each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
In Marvel world,
but that kind of drives the question of do we play multiple Spider-Mans? Are we just going to be Peter? Or are we going to get the chance to play as Miles? I saw somewhere someone had the theory that you can play as Mary Jane for a little bit throughout the story. Because there was like a little scene where she's like kind of ducking for cover, and it's her over the shoulder camera.
So you think it's like
of her like moving between cover in this place. So
I think that then it will depend on how story driven is this game. I mean, is this game going to be a linear story, and it's like, I'm going to play as Peter Parker, I'm going to play as Miles Morales, and kind of boom, plays this character for a certain period of time, plays that character, plays Mary Jane for a little mission, plays Black Cat for a mission, whatever they end up doing with it.
Or do they take this approach kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5 that allows you to kind of switch characters throughout the missions so that you can kind of have a different
feel.
Yeah, like a different angle on the situation. We find out that the main villain is going to be Mr. Negative. Which it seems like him and Peter kind of have a relationship, whether he's like a teacher or part of like, I don't know. It showed early on that there's like a magazine clip that's like thanking his not super villain identity, Mr. Martin Lee. Yeah, but they're duking it out throughout the entire trailer. It's like them just beating the hell out of each other. So we kind of have an idea of where the story's going. And there was some other villain that I saw in there. I didn't know who it was.
Shocker. I'm pretty sure that was Shocker. Yeah. This is definitely a Spider-Man game where you're not. It's not gonna be one villain.
Right.
It's gonna be like the Batman Arkham series.
Be a big
is
kind
of. Yeah, there'll be the overarching
multiple smaller.
Yeah. I think they'll probably go like Arkham City style. There's lots of villains throughout the city, but there is a main story with in this case, Mr. Negative at the center of it.
Right.
Whatever the conspiracy or big thing that's going on, he's at the center of it. So I think which is the way it should be done. You want to fight lots of bad guys if you're Spider-Man. You don't want to just fight one villain. It's not an episode.
Yeah.
Show.
Now, to offer a little bit of transparency, I don't really hugely enjoy a lot of the Marvel movies or any of the DC movies. Like, I'm not a superhero movie goer, right? I haven't read a lot of the comic books, so I don't have that like background nostalgia of being like, yes, let's go. Like the most I know about like superheroes and stuff was what I saw on Saturday morning cartoons growing up, like a lot of the X-Men and Justice League and stuff that was on like Cartoon Network. But I still don't know a lot of the like background lore that came through all the comics and everything. Yeah. So that being said, I'm excited to pick up Spider-Man.
Right, which is saying a lot.
It's going to be fun.
And I think that's saying a lot. I think that this is the type of game that will have a relatively wide appeal. I think there will be a little bit of getting lost because I think because it takes place deep in the Spider-Man timeline, like there's going to be some things where you're not serious. But I think that's a good thing because it'll be serious fans will have things to like look forward to, but it'll also be approachable for casual fans. Ideally, that's what I would like to see from the game, not just a like you don't want it to be one way or the other where it's another origin story and it's like boring for people who are big fans of the series, or the other side of it where it's like just too convoluted for anyone to really have any idea what the hell's going on.
So last question before we move on to like the next kind of game that was highlighted. Do you think it'll be open world or not? Have they said anywhere? I can't recall if they have.
I haven't seen that yet. I think there will be open world elements from what I've read about it.
Because I want it to feel like Spider-Man 2 back on the PS.
Yeah, I know.
PS2?
Yeah, the PS2, I think.
Yeah, the good one.
Yeah.
From back in the day. Because I did play that one. It was a long time ago.
I did play that one too.
That one was fun.
And
you were like swinging through the city.
You could swing around the city. And I'm pretty positive they would keep that kind of element. You want to feel
that's
like
what we're
a web
looking
slinger.
For.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give me that.
Give me the web
jungle.
Slinging.
I know, and I just said we need more like linear single player games, but like I feel like this is one of those games that doesn't fit.
But that's what I was trying to say. Was like I think you don't necessarily.
The story drives.
You can have You can have a story driven open world game and do it successfully. I think there are games, and this is a game where I'd want it to be that way, story driven. But you still want it to have cool side quests. I don't know. You want it to be like the Fractured Butthole, to be honest, where you have engaging side quests, but also like an overarching main story.
Yeah. Because you want to be a superhero.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
like if somebody gets robbed on the street, and I'm passing by, let me save them.
Right. I mean,
if you can do that in GTA, you should
and
be
you
want to
be able to
Spider-Man.
Right. And you want exactly. And you want to be able to fight lots of villains. You don't want to just be stuck fighting whoever is in the main story, and you don't want to be having villains shoehorned into the main story all the time. So
let's move along because we've got a lot to get through today. Last game we're going to talk about from Paris Games Week. Detroit. Become Human. You play as like an android with an AI, and you're forced to kind of like make decisions that directly affect the how the gameplay unfolds, like how the plot itself unfolds.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a lot of that feeling of like Until Dawn, where you make like every tiny dialogue choice that you make is going to kind of like butterfly effect out and change the entire way that the game is played. So
Quantic Dream, I mean, that's how all their games are. Like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. Those games are, it's all about every little decision that you make has these huge implications, and the whole idea is that's where you get your replay value from, because you can play through the game and get a different ending, or play through the game and get different results for these little things, and your decisions have real consequences. People will die, and they're dead for the rest of the game.
Until you restart and try again.
Do the game over again, right? There's no saving people, or
it's very unforgiving.
Make the right decision. Yeah,
very unforgiving.
But that's the point, It's a unique narrative, so it's not about. There's no winning or losing necessarily.
I don't know. The trailer that showcased it had the android that you played as and a abusive father. and this little girl who I guess their mother's not around, and the android was kind of filling in that motherly, like, I don't even like saying that. It's just, as kind of like the housekeeper.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
he's basically treating her like
old matriarchal role.
Yeah, what you would
like,
imagine.
I cook more than my wife. Like, what? I mean, yeah. It's so yeah.
It's an abusive husband. It's an
right.
abusive home, you know, and it's the father is clearly abusive to the daughter and to the
android
and to the previous wife, most likely.
Yeah,
who left.
So or died.
Who
knows? Play the game to find.
Yeah, exactly. But the graphics look stellar.
Yes.
And I've always been intrigued by this type of game. I think it's a really cool, unique way of doing a game.
Oh yeah.
And I think because your actions have so much consequences. I mean, I've played Telltale games. I don't find that there's enough consequences to your actions in those games. It's really like the story is dependent on you making those decisions.
And that's kind of where I feel like it breaks off from Until Dawn. Because Until Dawn, the story kind of stays the same. Your decisions just determine who lives or dies.
Yeah.
So either way, you're going to get this same kind of gameplay experience. You're still going to know like what's going on. You may have some bonus scenes if some people stay alive that in other replays that maybe they don't. But I still felt like walking away from like Until Dawn, I felt like I could have watched a Let's Play and still gotten the same experience. Whereas this, I feel like even if you watch a Let's Play, you're going to go in and make somebody like one tiny decision different than somebody else, and the whole game may feel different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about it. Put that one on the watch list. We'll come back to that probably further into the future. There was a couple other smaller titles that came out, like Spelunky 2, Guacamelee 2. Concrete Genie looks really interesting. Ore, you play as this little guy that turns into a dragon. It was kind of neat.
Oh, I think I've seen that one.
And then there were like tons of PlayStation VR stuff. They've got tons of PlayStation VR stuff coming out.
Is any of it real?
I mean, there was a good bit of stuff.
I saw a lot of it.
I mean,
it's all a lot of like mini game type stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
test of proof of concept, which is still
Megalith is like a hero shooter coming out that lets you play in VR, and all they had like a tiny little preview of it, but they haven't like. It's definitely gonna have that like kind of MOBA, hero shooter kind of feel to it, but it's VR.
Cool.
Blood and
Truth. I saw that one. Yeah,
it's basically like a heist.
Yeah,
this was like the initial like when we saw the PSVR and it was like you did like a heist thing. This is the game. They've just further polished it out. Yeah. So I mean, there's a couple things coming out. I'm kind of
I don't have the money.
Still not ready to buy PSVR. I feel like it's so expensive. I could buy
You can buy a console for the price.
On these Black Friday deals we're about to talk about, I could buy an Xbox for the price of a VR headset. So,
no, you could buy the Xbox for less than the cost of a VR as a result of. I mean, how much is the VR for the PlayStation?
It's like $299.
Yeah, $100 less to get a Black Friday deals are being
rolling along. Here we go. Black Friday and pre-Black Friday game deals happening that we've seen. First one, Dell's put out the Dell Home catalog. They're giving away a PS4 1 terabyte for $199. You can now buy a 1 terabyte PS4 for cheaper than a Nintendo Switch. A Nintendo DS, a 3DS, runs you $250.
Yeah, the PlayStation.
So
I mean, consoles
why not?
Yeah, I mean, they're this is it though. I mean, they've got new consoles coming out. Yeah. So they're if
the older ones are becoming cheaper.
Now's the time to buy Xbox One or PlayStation 4 this year. I mean, the next deal on from Dell, Xbox One 2 S. Xbox One S. Well, I was like, I didn't know what that was.
The Xbox One S 500 gigabyte is going to be on sale for $189. So that's even cheaper than the PS4, but it is half the memory. I would pay the extra $20 and get a full terabyte because nowadays with digital games, that's going to make a big difference. You're going to feel it. I mean, if you do want a cheaper console, get the One S. you can always buy an external
The One
later.
S has
They
the,
both
it's
run
got
that
the
now.
4K movies.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
guess
something.
PlayStation, the PS4 doesn't have native 4K support, so
That's what I mean. I mean, the S does, but whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Do you want a media console or do you want a video game console?
right. I think that's
That's
really
what it basically
the
comes
competition
down
is
to.
right
Every
now.
time this argument comes up, that's the question I ask. Costco's doing a lot of the same deal right now. It doesn't actually have the price on there, so I don't know what their in-store price is. But if it's based off market price, you can get a PS4 for $100 off. That should be about the same as that Dell Home one. And the Xbox One S, it's a bundle. It comes with 3 months of Xbox Live and 2 controllers. The Xbox One S bundle.
$80 off at Costco. That's pretty good.
The other thing I saw that Costco had was an Asus ROG Republica Gamer laptop, the GL75. It's sporting a 7th generation i7 processor with 4 gigabytes NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti graphics. You can get it for $250 off, putting your total cost at $950. Now,
Not bad.
it's
For a
not
gaming
bad.
laptop.
For a laptop,
Not bad.
it's got a 1050 Ti in it.
Yep.
That'll be able to play most things. I don't see... Oh, it's got 16 gigabytes of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive, and 128
SSD.
gigabyte SSD.
Not bad.
So, I would say...
If you
if
want
you're want a relatively cheap laptop,
Yeah.
this is...
it's not a bad.
This is
price.
not a bad
Costco's
price.
Costco's not a bad place to go.
Yeah, I mean, everything else on here seems to be like office laptops, touchscreen,
right.
Windows stuff. But that one stood out to me like off the bat when I saw it in the page. And then I guess the last place we're going to talk about, because I was kind of shocked. Sam's Club is going to be offering the PS4 Uncharted 4 or Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare bundle for the PS4 for only $229.
That is a 500 gigabyte instead of the 1 terabyte, but it comes with
Yes.
a game. So I mean, that's
Both games are well, I'm going to say Uncharted is great. Call of Duty is Call of Duty.
yeah.
If you like Call of Duty,
you like Call of Duty.
you like it.
Yeah, that's what you're.
That being said, if you also like Call of Duty, you should check out the Xbox One S deal that they have. That comes with Forza 3 digital download, Call of Duty World at War, not World at War, Call of Duty World War II, and Infinite Warfare, all in one bundle for $250.
That I think is the best in terms of how much you're getting for the price. That ends up probably being the best deal. I mean, if you like Call of Duty,
If you like Call of Duty,
this is, if you're
you're
buying this
getting
for
the
your
brand
kid,
new one, you're getting the old one, and you're getting something else with it. You're getting Forza 3. It's digital download.
All right, you buying this for your 14-year-old
Forza
son?
Horizon 3. Excuse me.
Horizon's better
Yeah.
because of the open world.
It's a little open world. You get to
It
drive
depends
around
on
in
what you like.
cars. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think that's enough on Black Friday.
Yeah. I think we can move on. Move right along now. Those are the big deals we saw. Feel free to let us know if you catch any other deals.
Post it in the
Just
comments.
Post it in the
anything you
comments on the
see.
YouTube. Tweet at us at World Game Champs. Just let us know.
Big deals.
Keep in
I mean,
touch.
the best deals in consoles and PC gaming.
'Cause I think those are pretty good ones.
Those are all decent freaking deals for sure.
Speaking of great deals,
They're going away.
Humble Bundle was acquired by IGN.
Which
I'm just gonna. What are your initial impressions of this?
my initial impressions are: what is IGN doing getting into the game sales business?
You like stared him down for that one.
What are you doing, IGN?
What are you doing, IGN?
I mean, I do get it. I mean, I think they're just trying to diversify the company. They're trying to expand. They're trying to make themselves have other areas of revenue. But there's a certain level. You have to see that there's a certain level of. Maybe there isn't. I just feel like there's a certain level of conflict of interest going on when you're selling a game. And I get it. They're not making games.
But they do review them.
But they do review games, and they do promote. I mean, they could be they could be promoting Humble Bundle on their website for free. I guess I don't know. I guess that's not really a problem. there's just something that feels a little bit off about it. I don't think it's the end of the
Now,
world, though.
I seem to have the unpopular opinion on this because a lot of what I read online was people getting upset that IGN is getting involved with Humble Bundle because they loved Humble Bundle and they don't want IGN coming in and screwing things up.
Agree.
But reading the words from the actual owner, they chose IGN because they really understand the vision of Humble Bundle, which is to provide discounted games that cut a profit towards charity.
Right.
So 10% of all the sales goes to charity. They've raised over $160 million for charity from 10 million customers.
I'm a big fan of Humble Bundle.
Right. Humble Bundle, that's a cool thing. But where I think this becomes good for Humble Bundle is that they're a small company of 60 people right now, and they're trying to do as much as they can. They're trying to get the word out as big as they can, and it's just gotten to the point where now they're running a monthly subscription. Now they've got a publishing business. I feel like that's what brought IGN in, was that okay, now they can publish, right? So now IGN, I feel like
that's what I'm saying.
It can be a little bit of a conflict of interest,
right.
But they have come out and said the Polygon article that covered this got a response from IGN, where they came and said, we're going to try our best, here it is. Editorial integrity is something that they take very seriously at IGN, and they're confident that they can strike the right balance when it comes to coverage of Humble Bundle and the games they sell. Our readers and customers have always come first, and that won't change. Now, if you kind of pair that wording with what Jeffrey Rosen said, the CEO and co-founder of Humble Bundle, he really can't think of a better partner. And it got Humble Bundle started in a garage.
Yeah.
In their mom's living room. Them just sitting around in robes selling games, right? World of Goo was in the first package they sold, right? And so, that being said, they did want an out. It had gotten to the point where the company was too big, and they were like...
Right, and I don't blame them for wanting to sell the company. I think that who doesn't want to invent something and then sell it for a bunch of money and retire and go right off in the sunset? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a little more concerning to me is, again, will this change how IGN reports on Humble Bundle? Will this change? Because now Humble Bundle, like you said, they've expanded so much. They are becoming a direct competitor with Steam and with Origin and GOG and Green Man and all these other guys. They're becoming a direct competitor with all of those PC game distributors.
Because really, the only thing, what are they going to cover? Here's the latest deal on Humble Bundle. How is that unfair though?
Oh, because maybe they don't mention the best deals from Steam now. Maybe they don't mention the best deals from GMG, or GOG or Green Man or GOG or anybody else. Maybe maybe Humble Bundle gets free advertising on IGN. I'm not saying I
will
don't
because
disagree with you in the sense that
the same company now.
I don't think this is right. I don't think this is I don't think it's illegal.
No, definitely not.
Definitely don't think
that's not what I'm saying. I don't even think it's that unethical.
I don't think it's that unethical either. I just think that there is a potential for a conflict of interest. I'm not saying there is a conflict of interest. I don't think there is a conflict of interest. I think it happens all the time. It happens in television and movies all the time.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to give Humble Bundle some strengths as a company.
Oh, definitely.
It's not going to hurt IGN at all. They have no loss in this. There was
whatever they paid for it.
Right. I think there's a lot of strengths to come out of bringing in IGN. One, staffing. Two, just background finances.
Right, exactly.
There's just a lot of that back end that is going to be there and kind of set in stone for Humble Bundle, who was trying to kind of figure all of that out. So,
yeah, but
my concerns are that over time, Humble Bundle will transform away from what it was if it becomes too lucrative or anything. I could see them cutting maybe how much the charities take out of Humble Bundle.
IGN, that's another question. Is IGN going to be more... IGN's a for-profit company. Are they going to be more about profit than about the whole humble part? of the bundle.
Right. Well, I mean, it's still like 90% of that was going to the Humble Bundle brand.
Yeah,
I guess whatever.
But they were
whatever
already
cut goes
games,
to the
right? The game developers
publishers
get whatever, the publishers get whatever, then Humble Bundle gets whatever, and then. But still, 10% is a decent chunk to send to charity. I mean, that's not
exactly, and that's how they're able to do 106 million
to charity.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy, but. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think time will tell.
Time will tell. I think you're 100% right. We don't know.
Leave your ideas in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Do you think that IGN getting Humble Bundle is going to be an issue? Comment down below.
Let us know.
We'll read and we'll comment on it in the next video. Last story.
Yeah. I think this will be the last one that we have time to go in depth over. Yeah. So.
Big story. Huge.
Are we done now?
Huge.
Huge surge in console sales.
What?
So apparently...
What happened to the PC Master Race, my man? What happened?
Nothing. Nothing has happened to the PC Master Race, believe me.
Well... What I think
believe me.
What I think is really funny is that this article says, so much for smartphones killing off video game consoles.
Yeah, this came from CNN. CNN Money. And, I mean, I guess I could see where there was the concern that smartphones may have taken, I mean...
The only market share I see smartphones realistically taking from, and I think that they have, in a way, is mobile gaming in the sense of Game Boy and PSPs. PSPs. Haha.
PS Vitas.
PS Vitas, yeah. I don't think those never really had it. I mean, the Game Boys aren't doing bad. Game Boy's doing fine.
DS
still sell just fine. I don't think there's any issue with the DS is selling. So even that market isn't really getting hit by smartphones. I think smartphones is just opening up a whole new marketplace of gamers, especially I think with women.
I kind of let's dive into a little bit about in the meat of this story. So
into the
Sony
consoles.
So let's take a look at what is actually happening right now. So 2008 was the last huge surge that we saw in console gaming. That was the last peak pinnacle of console sales. And ever since, it was kind of going downhill, and there's been like little roller coasters going on since.
That was year 3 of Xbox 360's run.
Yeah.
And year
PS3.
2 of PlayStation 3, yeah.
PlayStation has now 4 years into its run, right? Last quarter alone, Sony has sold 4.2 million consoles.
4.2 million alone last quarter in its 4th year in existence.
Yes.
The PlayStation 4 is...
they're giving a lot of credit to the games that were coming out. They're saying Dragon Quest, Injustice, Destiny 2. I think there was other things that came out that were also very good, like Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, was a big one. And I think... also, PlayStation has so many good games upcoming.
Right.
Last of Us 2, God of War, Detroit. I mean, there's all these like cool exclusives. PlayStation is just they got it. The games front, they're just killing it.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. So Sony sold 67.5 million PS4s since it arrived in 2013.
67 million. That's pretty good.
Outpacing the sales for the previous PS3 at the same time span, which was about that same.
To be expected. Yeah. PlayStation 4 is definitely a more popular console than the 3 was. Next up, we've got Nintendo. Nintendo has doubled its expected profits from the last financial year. They were expected to only make 65 billion yen. That's $572 million. They ended up. They now expect an operating profit of $1.06 billion. That's 120 billion yen. I mean, it's the best performance since the Wii,
Right.
and that tells you something. I don't remember if you remember when the Wii came out, but that was.
I bought mine super late for like $100.
Well, either way, the Wii was. I remember the Wii craze. It was nuts. Everyone freaking was buying Wiis left and right. Every casual person out there would buy a Wii because
Right.
like, you know, it's like it's $200. I can get it.
Play
and
tennis with your
Tennis
friends.
with your friends, exactly.
Inside and break your lamp.
So basically, the Switch, is like finally the successor to
Yeah.
the Wii that Nintendo was looking for. The Wii U was a little bit of a flop.
I've got my reservations about the Wii U. I'm not going to dig into them, but all I'm going to say is nobody wanted to figure out how to develop for 2 different screens on a console.
And I get it. I get why. I mean, Nintendo were the only ones. I mean, and this is there are cracks in the Switch armor, I think, as well, in the sense that the Switch has so little power. Some people aren't willing to take away from their games to make them work on the Switch. So Nintendo's got issues.
Like, would you say there's some games that are like kind of designed to be played sitting in the dock, not portable?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that's one of the limitations. Now, it's still early for Nintendo with the Switch. It's not even a year out. Give them 2, maybe 3 years. I expect a Switch Plus or something like that.
Some sort of either a bigger
Switch XL,
Switch or a Switch with a little more gusto to it, you know. But they're boosting their expected sales. They were expecting to sell 10 million units in the first year. That has now gone up to 14 million units. I mean, that's tremendous. Obviously, the games, I think, are pushing that in a lot of ways because I think I think it's the novelty of the Switch itself, which is tremendous. I mean, being able to...
They took like what was neat about the Wii, but made it simple.
Yeah.
Instead of having like your arms flying all over the place, it's just little handheld thing
and
little remotes.
And
they do feel really small.
They're very small.
But
I mean, I can show you. Grab my Switch. It's like, you know,
it like sits in the palm of your hand.
It's
not
a big. It's not this monstrous console. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even. It's smaller than an iPad.
Right.
That's...
So, I guess next up is Microsoft. The Xbox One X hit stores November 7th. It's right around the corner, and it's being touted as one of the most powerful consoles ever made.
It's being touted as the most powerful console.
It has
ever made.
teraflops.
It has teraflops!
Which, honestly, I've heard some like early reviews of it that there is a noticeable difference when you're playing your One X versus your One S.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. When it comes to like loading times, it processes things extremely quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be enough of a difference to charge people $500.
$500.
That's where I'm kind of like, what are you doing? If you could use some kind of cheap, like if you could find a way to make it cheaper, I think they'd do much better sales. But right now, I feel like
I think that the Xbox One X is your hardcore Xbox player, and I don't know who that is.
your Halo tournament consoles?
Yes. I mean, I think that the Xbox One X is an impressive piece of machinery. I think that if you don't want to have to go out and build your own PC, that's going to be the closest thing you're going to get.
And that's what I've heard, is that it keeps up with PCs.
I mean, you can play 4K. I mean, you can play 4K. Who's out there? I mean, who out there is playing on a 4K TV? A decent amount. I mean, I am, but most people aren't.
I'm not. I definitely
right.
I'm not. I can't afford that.
So apparently there were fears that from some business people in business circles that smartphones would be able to knock out old school consoles and PC gaming. Like that somehow mobile smartphone gaming was going to be the future of gaming. Most people are saying right now that has now been laid to rest. That is not really a big concern. in the community anymore, and for obvious reasons. There's no doubt in my mind that mobile gaming has more users.
Right.
But that's because everyone has a
They're saying there's
2
2
billion
billion players.
2 billion
And
smartphone
consoles
users
only have 250 million.
versus consoles with 250 million, which I don't know
That's
if that
1/8.
does that include PC gaming. I assume PC gaming is less than
And
console
I don't know.
gaming by a significant portion.
I don't know if that includes multiple like players in one house either. Like that number.
Right, a household could be 4
console
or 5
games.
people. Yeah.
But I think
There's just
mobile games are. Michael Pachter puts it really well. He's a research analyst at Wedbush Securities. He says smartphone games are to console games what YouTube videos are to television series. And I think it's because they both have different audiences.
and I think
They have like different they meet different needs.
right, and I think he's also specifically talking about when a company pairs a YouTube series with a television program. So,
Okay.
because I don't think he's saying
No, I think what he's getting
No, I
at
guess
is
he is
that
trying to
they're
say that.
not
I don't really agree with that.
competitors.
I don't really agree with that.
I mean, because the way I see it, you're not going to sit there and play through and there's a few exceptions to this. Yes, I know, like Banner Saga, right? But you're not going to sit there and play through an entire 40-hour campaign of something on your phone.
No, and I think your phone can do that, and I mean there are some people who will do that with their phone games, but it doesn't have the same immersiveness. It doesn't have the same. It's also, I look at phone games as well, why would I want to play a phone game when I could play a game on my television?
Right. Phone games are for.
Phone games are
you're
for when
sitting on the subway.
You're sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, you're at the doctor's office. They're time
Bored
killers.
at work. Exactly. They're for 5 to 10 minute, maybe 15, maybe 30 minutes at the most spans of time. I can sit down and play a console game for freaking hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, hours.
You can't play a phone game for more than half an hour.
No, you get
That's
bored.
why, I think Nintendo's taking the right approach. We talked about this a little bit last week, about how Nintendo's diving into the mobile gaming atmosphere. And I feel like they understand that. I feel like they get the idea of making small tasks accomplishable in easy ways so that you can put it on a phone. Something like Animal Crossing coming to a phone. That's a game that makes sense. You can go, you maybe do a couple tasks for some people, put it down. But trying to play through Banner Saga, which is this huge epic campaign, I played it for maybe 2 weeks and I couldn't remember what was happening because I get too ADD, right? I play through a little bit of it and then I'm like, oh wait, I gotta go do dinner. And then when I come back, I forgot everything that I did.
Right. And again, that's exactly it, though. It's if I'm going to sit down and dedicate time, why wouldn't I sit down and do that at my television? Why am I doing that why am I sitting there on my phone playing through an immersive campaign? It doesn't work. Mobile games were never going to take away the video game market.
Exactly.
Mobile games were always going to be their own market for games, and I think they will be until... I think the Switch is the closest thing you'll get to kind of a in between, and maybe one day they'll
there's
have
some really impressive VR that's able to come out. Some
well, it'd be
some
cool.
games on your phone that you could put pair with your Oculus or your
right. You can just
HTC
plug your
Vive
phone
or any
into
of those Samsung
VR.
VR, whatever. But even then, it's not like it's going to replace the entire
And your phone is
gaming
just too
atmosphere.
right. Your phone is designed to be able to do so many different things. It's a computer,
Right.
And it's not a gaming computer. It's not what it is. So it's not. It's
Although
not designed.
Razer's trying to change that. Did you see that?
We're trying to make a gaming
Razer
phone.
Razer merged with Nextbit, I think is what it is, and they have made a gaming phone. Yeah, the Nextbit Robin is now the new Razer phone that has 120 megahertz refresh rate on the phone screen, dual front speakers.
It's pretty good.
That being said, it doesn't look like a pretty phone. And what Android games are you actually going to try to play on
And
it?
again, I mean, it's just it's not what you want. It's not the whole purpose of your phone. Go get a Switch.
Right.
If you want mobile gaming, go get a Switch. The phone is for Hearthstone and, you know,
Like,
Animal
it
Crossing
blows my
and
mind
stuff
that
like that.
Final Fantasy is out on phones. Final Fantasy 9, 6, 7, or 8.
yeah, I think those make a little more sense.
No, those are huge, extremely long, time-consuming games.
I
and,
meant
like,
they make
how
sense.
would you drive to the? How would you get the drive to play through it on your phone?
I could.
Right.
The only reason why I think those
iPad?
make a little bit, iPad, but also I think they make a little bit of sense in the way that like those are like kind of nostalgia games.
Sure.
You know, you're like, I hit some. I don't know. You can play those on Game Boy, so that's the only reason why I'm like, anything you play on Game
Not
Boy.
7, 8, and 9.
No, that's true. Not 7.
And see,
Nine.
those are like multi-disc PS1 games.
That's true. I mean,
So-
even 6 is like a freaking super long game. They're all long games.
Yeah. See what I mean? It's like it's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I've tried to like. I remember I tried to play.
I tried-
the old.
I tried to play 6, Final Fantasy 6, couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
On my phone.
Not enough phone.
No, you're right.
Well,
Stop. Phone companies, give me small menial tasks that I can do while I'm sitting in my Uber going to get Chinese food.
Not too menial.
I don't know. Magikarp Jump was extremely satisfying, and all you did was tap the screen.
Well, true. You want a little bit of depth. I don't know. A Hearthstone is, I think,
Hearthstone's good.
Hearthstone's about as or those types.
Vainglory was fun.
Vainglory.
But you needed half an hour to
That was
dedicate
that was like
to
a
your
30
phone
minute
screen.
game. Yeah, they should have.
It's better on iPad, though. I will say that game is better.
I could
on
imagine
iPad.
Vainglory being decent on iPad.
Yeah, it was great. Super competitive.
But again, 30 minutes, like you just don't.
So, consoles, phones, they're nothing to do with each other.
One
They're
should not be
two
replacing the
totally
other.
different things. Consoles are flying off the shelves, though.
Apparently.
It's finally gotten to that point. I think we have found the sweet spot of where they're affordable enough, and there's enough content out for them now. I feel like this is the peak year for current gen sales.
Agreed.
And it's going to start to tank, except for the Switch, which will continue to rise because it just came out and there's still not a lot of stuff for it.
I'm hoping it doesn't tank, but I agree with you. I think it'll start to. This is year 4. We're in year 4 of these current consoles. You're right there. They're at the cheapest, one of the cheapest points they're going to be, while still being the top dog.
Yeah.
So we're getting near the end, and I think the Xbox One X is kind of a next gen console.
At this point, yeah.
It's not, but it kind of is. So, and maybe that's the way they'll go from now on. Though, is maybe the PlayStation 5 will actually just be a PlayStation 4 souped up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll kind of come down to whether Xbox makes a Xbox 2, which is the Xbox 4, or something else.
So whatever Xbox.
Xbox Space.
Maybe Xbox should just.
It's just going to be your living room as a console.
They should just
the
call
Xbox
it,
Space.
It should be the Xbox personal computer.
Windows 11.
Windows 11. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's about all we have time
Great
for.
Gamecast today, guys.
Great Gamecast.
Thank you for joining us.
That's it this week. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at World Gaming Champs. Make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and our Twitch is coming soon, so stay tuned for that. If you follow us on Twitter, we will let you know when all that comes out. We do record the show every Friday evening. Hope to release the shows every Monday, as long as things go according to plan. And the audio version, or the video version, will be on YouTube, and the audio version will be on SoundCloud and iTunes. We just got approved last week. So go check us out, give us a follow, subscribe, whatever they call it, and our stuff will come straight to your feed.
Like I said, hit us up on Twitter. We got a Facebook.
We don't have.
We do.
You've been doing stuff?
Yeah, I did a little bit with it. Unbelievable.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are all I'm going to do on there, but We got one. I don't know what I put pictures up.
Take care of the housekeeping.
But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.